All right, what's up, guys? So we're doing an interview today with Robert. He joined the Freedom Team pretty while back, from what I remember, and we're just going to talk about his journey today and kind of everything that's been going on since he ended up joining the Freedom Team. So thank you so much, Robert, for hopping on, taking the time to do this. And when did you join the Freedom Team? Do you remember?
Beginning of February.
Beginning of February. Okay, so it's been about about 2 months, a little over 2 months now since you joined. So why don't you give me a quick kind of background on how you got into trading, and then kind of that can lead us into your story of how you actually started becoming a trader.
Well, I got into trading I read basically, this was years and years ago, but I read um, a book by William O'Neill and kind of was captivated by it. Started looking at stock charts. And I really do that's what I like the best about trading is just looking at stock charts and trying to determine good entries and profits. So that style of trading is more like an investment trading. I mean, you're meant for hold it longer. It's not swing trading, it's even longer than that. And it's based on chart patterns, which would be basically bases that favor a breakout. Once a breakout happened, I would have a target of about 20-25% profit, stop loss 8%. This is following William O'Neill's philosophy. And I did this for years, and I was doing okay with it. Went through a kind of a patch where things weren't, and it was just market conditions more than anything, but profits were not as high as good as stop losses. So started looking elsewhere, more different philosophies. So ran into some of your things on Twitter, and I like the idea of supply demand. Really read up on it, and that's just kind of captivated my interest. So where I am now is just trying to learn, a lot of the things that you've taught on your videos.
Awesome. Yeah, no, supply demand for me as well. Like when I first came across it was a game changer, right? So glad that you kind of saw the same thing, and how powerful it can be when traded correctly. So awesome. So why don't we go talk a little bit more about kind of the emotional side of trading? Because I know, obviously jumping from what you were doing in the past to using a different strategy with us now makes a lot of sense, but the emotional side is also a very key component. So back when you were trading the other strategy, were you very emotional? Was it very easy for you to be emotionless? And how has that kind of shifted over the past 2 months?
Well, when you are trading an investment style, you're going to be more patient. And if you have an 8% stop loss and the daily up and downs, you're not going to act on it as quickly. Um, and so, I was not as emotional. Plus, I was working full time at that time. So I would just set my entries and just look at them, may not look at them for a day or two, just to check it, and felt like maybe I was more patient or just willing to just live by my decision on a certain stock based on the information I had. Since then, and I tend to day trade and swing trade more. It's a little more emotional. You have the other things like FOMO coming in and maybe cutting losses too quickly. And after you've had a few downslides, if you start having some profit, taking it too quickly. Those are the things I try to control, with emotion. So, I think at first it was a learning curve for me with the emotion aspect. And I like the idea of setting up the trade, letting it go, and, set your alerts and targets and stop loss, and even stepping away and not watch it. Because I don't like watching a computer all day. I find that it's just too burdensome. It's too emotionally draining to watch every tick go with it. And so not really big fan of that. But I
Yeah,
do like the some of the concepts that you've thrown out, how to avoid that.
yeah, no, like 100%. The OCOs, like set and forget, is massive, right? Because I was the same way. Like I don't want to trade in a way where I have to sit in front of the screens the whole day. So glad that kind of resonated with you. And yeah, it is a huge shift going from investing to now trading. So glad you were able to kind of manage those emotions relatively easy. But awesome. So, once you kind of joined, was there any kind of moments maybe in the course or maybe it was like on a call that kind of like stood out to you that kind of really made things click and make things a little bit better for you?
Well, I think it's been a combination of a lot of things, but I think, more recently, it's the concept of a strong high and strong lows because, and I still kind of struggle with that a little bit because those kind of uh, places that a strong low may look different at a different time frame. So, I keep constantly going back to the higher time frame to put things in proper perspective before I decide at a lower time frame whether this is really a strong low or a strong high. I do like the idea of a strong high being there and allows me to be more patient when I'm looking for a change in trend, uh, for that strong high to be taken out. And I also like the 50% retracement concept as well because I find that helps out a lot besides supply and demand.
Yeah, the 50% rule is, obviously a concept that a lot of people don't tend to know. And it's, when you're think of it like a institution, it makes sense that they'd be getting below that 50%. So yeah, glad to see that's been helping you out. And so let's go back to the strategy part for a second, because I know, back before you're trading more breakouts and with supply and demand, it's a little bit more reversal style trading, right? So
Yes.
how has that kind of been impacted to you? Is that something you liked changing? Have you found it's been easier to do it that way? Or how has that change been like for you?
Well, I think I like the fact that you're looking for a reversal because you're getting in early. And, when the old style of trading is that basically, the breakout points are really, you're looking for a stock to go higher after it's already gone high. So I think a lot of the energy of the stock is not gone, but you lose a lot of that momentum unless the stock's really high, like in NVIDIA. But most of the stocks I find today, and I don't know if the market's changed or the way trading's changed from years ago, but stocks, they use a lot of momentum energy to get to the breakout point. So I find that you're not going to have as the trend won't be as strong at that point, or at least it's going to form another base before it makes another move.
Yeah,
So I think a lot of the breakout points is just the beginning of another base, I find.
yeah.
So I like looking at the reversal concept, you can catch a good part of the trend before you get to that upper resistance point.
Yeah, 100%. And on top of that, right, trend is a massive concept, and that's something that I focus heavily on when I trade. And I know it's something you look at as well. Has there been anything you've learned that has kind of helped you, you know, make trend a little bit easier to follow and understand? Because it does get confusing when you're looking at a bunch of different time frames. But was there anything, throughout the past few months that have kind of helped you really grasp that concept?
Well, I think it's just, keep it in perspective of what the higher time frame's telling you. And those little dips, in either direction, dips or rises in either direction, you can kind of get caught up in that. It's kind of like the forest and the trees concept.
Mhm.
And, the trees can sometimes get you in trouble because, you're something's in a definite uptrend and you're playing a downtrend. A lot of times you can get caught in that. And shouldn't be a surprise, but when it happens, it is. But I think that's the kind of thing that I always just looked at uptrend. I rarely shorted in the past, so I was always looking for an uptrend. So I didn't worry about those little downtrends. But when you're trading shorter term, day trading or even swing trading, sometimes you get caught up in that, trying to catch a downtrend when really the bigger picture is an uptrend.
Right, right.
I
Yeah,
think that's probably what I'm trying to, I'm learning. I've learned that the hard way, and sometimes I get caught up in it still. I think those looking back on those trades that were losers, um, is because I was trying to, like act like a salmon fishing, swimming upstream. It just wasn't working.
right. Yeah. And tying that in with risk management, because I know, previously you were risking 8% per trade, trying to go for 25%. How was the risk management side kind of changed perspective for you now that you're doing more day trading, more options, and more specific to, not necessarily risking the same percent in every single trade, but focusing more on the dollar amount?
It's working out better because I'm looking at actual, I don't really, I mean, I'm looking at actual points of where I wouldn't have made the trade if the price had been at that point. So as far in regard to the stop loss, what's going to make this trade not work? So, and I'm looking for places where I can put a better stop loss level. No, not a big gap where it's going to be here. I'm looking for it to be a little tighter. And I think some of the ones that didn't work out, I think it just didn't work out. It wasn't. I feel like the trade itself was a good trade. The setup was good. Put it that way.
Right.
It just didn't work out.
Yeah, perfect. And so one of the things as well is, that we, through the whole mentorship, we offer a lot of stuff, the one-on-one calls, the course, the community, all that stuff. So has there been anything like specifically, maybe like one thing that's kind of stuck out of the plate that's like really helped you kind of learn and grasp the material and get things, going for your trading?
Well, I mean, but Zach is my coach, so my times with him have been good. I feel like every time we meet, I'm learn something that I didn't think of. Uh, and when he does his live trading, I'll go in and listen to that, even if I don't. I'll listen to a recording because a lot of times I don't have a chance to do it live trading with him.
Got it.
So I think it's just it's a lot of concepts in your videos, and it's very extensive. And I mean, I've had to go through them several times. I'm still learning things. Uh, as far as the videos that you've put out and all the information.
Yeah, it's a lot of concepts, right? A lot of stuff to learn, but it's the best thing is being able to break it down into simple terms to make it easy. But great. And so, last kind of question to tie off here is, you've been in for a little over 2 months now. Is there anything that, maybe if someone's watching and they're curious as to, um, if they're kind of teetering on whether or not to join, is there anything you would want to say to those kind of people that are, thinking of joining?
Well, I think before what I did was I was part of the vault, and I think that helped because you just kind of see how things work, and there's a lot of information. And I think that if you're committed to trading, then the next step is to do what I did, and join a freedom team. But I think the vault is a good entry for people that are on the fence. Um, it's a good community, and you get to, I think I did learn a lot, but I had learned a lot more once I joined Freedom Team. Put it that way.
Awesome. Love it. Well, I know you're a busy guy, so I'm not going to hold you here, but I very much appreciate you coming on the interview and sharing your perspective and thoughts with me. And yeah, we're going to continue to, keep pushing on your trading, get you to the next level and help you scale and actually get to where you want to be. So again, thanks so much for hopping on and, I'll see you inside the Slack.
All right. Thank you.